Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Yeah. God, I've been watching too much Evie Gibbons, guys. Evie Gibbons. She's a dairy farmer in the UK. She's a trip. The other day I was watching her and she was going with her girlfriend. Me and the girls, we're gonna go camping. We're gonna go camping. Can't say camping. She said camping. We're gonna go camping. We gotta milk the cows now. Oh, she's a flippin' riot, guys. You gotta check Evie Gibbons out when you get real bored. I must be bored because I'm in the barn right now. We just been having torrential downpours here. Yeah, I'm fixing to go in and cook me up a big old ribeye too. It's high noon right now, so I thought I'd do a quickie video update. I need to do an update on my knuckle. You guys asked me about the knuckle and my bee venom therapy. There it is. Look at that. 99% fixed, guys, with only one round of bee venom. I put 5 hits in that knuckle, and yeah, the thumb's working good now. Where I crashed out there, that went on for 2 months, and I put up with the pain for probably 2 months, and then pain started tracking into that knuckle right there. I don't know, and it started itching, so it was repairing. After I did the venom therapy, I guess what happens, receptors go to that area where you hit it with that venom, repair receptors, whatever, and it starts repairing that area where you hit it with venom. And so, yeah, and then it was itching. It itched for like a week, but don't sit and scratch it. Just leave it alone and let the venom magic do its work. Of course, you can't keep poisoning your body with a high carb diet. You have to get off of that. Yeah, I was at the store there the other day picking up my blades, my lawnmower shop, picking up my blades. I don't know if I told you that one or not, but the fellow was there, and somebody brought him in a big old sack of cookies. Just what he needed. The guy is way overweight, and you could see, you know, he's having difficulty even breathing because the guts, his belly's so big, it was pushing up on his lungs, and you see it all the time, guys. Yeah. And so I told him, he said, man, I said, boy, I'd like to get into those cookies. He said, I would too. He says, boy, I'd love to get into those. Some customer brought them in. Just what I need. He says, I got diabetes issues and all kind of stuff, and I don't need none of that. I said, no, diabetes is kind of a bad deal. It's a shame these doctors aren't coming clean with that whole deal and just telling you that, you know, what to do to tune up your life instead of just keep pumping you with metformin and this. He said, it's terrible. It's just crazy. And I said, why don't you do what I do? He said, what's that? I said, carnivore diet. He said, I've never heard of that. I said, you mean to tell me I knew this, right? Your doctor, your know-it-all doctor, doesn't know a thing about carnivore diet? Apparently not. He's never said nothing to me. I said, well, look it up. I said, it's all over the internet. Check it out. And I didn't tell him about my channel. He didn't look like a beekeeper to me, so anyway. He said, by golly, I'll check that out. I said, you will be amazed. He said, what do you eat? I said, a bacon and eggs for breakfast, and then a ribeye for noon, and then maybe if I get a little munchy in the afternoon, I'll have some pecans, some raw pecans or some cashews, and nothing with seed oil, nothing boiled in seed oil, just roasted with sea salt. That's it? I said, that's it. Well, we have a cheat. My wife and I, this guy's diabetic, mind you. He said, the wife and I can't imagine what she looks like. The wife and I, we will have a cheat day once a week. And I said, really, what do you have for cheat day? he said, we'll have some ice cream. Now, that, I can just imagine what he's having for his ice cream. It's probably one of them half-gallon, you know, boxes. That's what I'm envisioning, right? So anyway, guys, it's quite amazing what's going on out there in Squirrel Land with these crazy far left nut jobs. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw those two little tidbits in. And Evie Gibbons, oh, she's a riot. I'm telling you guys, she's a riot. But she'll take you through the whole dairy cow process. They're milking. Oh man, I don't know how many they're milking. There are tons of them. But she's got quite a team, and they show you how to do all the dairy farm stuff there. But anyway, I'm here to show you the little bit of beekeeping stuff if you're really bored. Now see, it's been rainy, it's cleared off now, but it's too hot. I'm not going to work bees until the 17th. I may go in on Monday or Tuesday and put in some fresh towels in there. I do 3 runs of towels on the mites, and whatever's left in there, I'll take them out, put a fresh towel in, and then I'll come back a week later and do another one, and then I leave them in until they pretty much chew them out. But by the 17th is a new moon, and I want to start putting in some of these frames. I'm getting quite a few piled up here. I just took back a load in the barn yesterday's, and here's one here. I've got the tow string or hemp string here, and I've stapled it. I just drill a hole in the end, and I'll show you here in a second how I do it. And I set this up yesterday. Started yesterday. This came in the mail. I think this was like 10 o'clock. Amazon came in. I had all these. I got 700 of these little inserts. I got this roll of wire. And then I came out here and threw this jig together, finished the jig. I had this portion in with a clamping system. All I needed was my roll. I didn't want to build nothing till I've got this. So all I did here was, I didn't glue this down. I clamped it. This had a 3/4 bore hole through it. So I went to Lowe's and picked up a 3/4 dowel and passed the dowel through there, and then I cut it off pretty much flush where it will move easily. And then I put a pre-drill through the dowel on both ends. I pre-drilled the block of wood, and then I clamped it. I put the reel in of wire, and then I clamped it, and then I piloted a 1/8" bit on a 45 on all 4 corners, and then I shot 2-inch screws through there. And then this plate here, you see here, it's a tensioner. That is three pieces of the flashing, Lowe's flashing. You get it, I get it 10 inches wide by 10 feet long, and that's the same material I use, that flashing, for my ant moats. Hang on a minute here. Every time I get to talking, the air compressor kicks in. So anyway, yeah, so I came up with, I needed something to put tensioner on, because this stuff will go dwang, and you'll have a balled out mess here. You got to have something with a little tension on it. And another thing I found too, I'll show you when I'm pulling back and putting tension on these wires, don't use this reel to roll back, because what happens, you'll get in under, one of these wires will slip under, and you'll tension it up, and now you've created a really nasty bird nest. And I had to peel out yesterday a bunch of line, so I made one stupid mistake there. Anyway, I won't do that again. So I don't use this to tension it. I grab the line right here and I pull up with my hand to put the tension on it. So anyway, yeah, I've got, what I've got here is some 3/4 long 18 gauge, which got a head on it. And then I bought 700 of these eyelets through Amazon, and this roll. And then I bought a tool also to set these. It's like a little driver, and you put it on, you put a nipple on there. It goes in that hole, and you can drive them into your frames. But anyway, what I do, this is totally my deal, what I do. I've never seen anybody do this. I take a 7/64 bit. 7/64 is what you need on these. And this was a string frame at one time. And it was got in a die out. I've got all these down here. This is the last of my frames. I've got some goofy ones here that I had experimental ones. I put plasticell in at the top so they can make comb, and it was a drone frame what I was creating, and that sucked. I don't do that anymore, so these will be reconditioned. All I got to do is knock that center bar out of there, and we will make a string frame just like these over here. And I'm putting a W. I'm going to be putting with a marker on the top a W on both ends, so I know that's a wire frame. I have some, I think there's 4 or 5 with spider wire, so I put S on those so we can monitor those. So all I do with these frames here with a 7/64 bit, these holes are all propolis. So I run the 7/64 bit through just to get the propolis out. And then I open this hole up here where I pass my line through, my hemp string through. Now once I get the tool, I may not need to drill these out. So what I do is just take one at a time here and push into these holes. Some of the holes are tight. You can tap them in with your hammer, but don't beat on them too much because these sleeves are very fragile here. But with a 7/64, it's about perfect. I tried an 1/8 inch and not so much. They just keep falling out. You have to have some tension on these. You have to have tension on them because when you're passing your wire through, they'll pop out, and then you'll develop some cuss words. Okay, so you don't want to do that. You don't want to develop any cuss words. Okay. So I hope all is well in your world. I hope that your bees are coming along nicely. We're in a major dearth right now, and so we're on a major feeding program, of course. So now all I do here is I have a roll of this soft twine. I think they call it jute or tow. And then I have my needle here. And what I did here was took some spider wire and attached it to my sewing needle. It's just a cutter needle. You could use any needle. You can make a needle as far as that goes. Take a piece of soft wire and put it on the anvil and smash it flat. Here, smash it flat, not get it too wide, and then drill a small. You could use that same bit, that 7/64 bit, and run a hole through it. So I just pass my jute line through like this, and then I come over here and pass it through the hole here on the end, and it comes out like so. And then you just pull it, drag it through. Not much to it. Then I pull this line back about like that, so we don't have a whole lot of waste here. Then I take a staple gun and I hit it right here. And then I pull it over. I pull it over off the side and I hit it again. Then I trim it. No big rocket science here, guys. I just put a little tension. You don't need a lot. This is just sitting here. Yeah, these are just little rainy day projects you can do in the bee barn. So you stay out of Miss Daisy's hair, you know what I mean? All right, we've got our string in there, and it's just basically down in that crack. You can use, I usually use string, groove top and bottom bar, so I can use plasticell. But in this case here, we're making string frames, and they'll be just as good. If you install these in between solid sheets of foundation drawn out, don't just drop it in there with foundation on each side. You'll have a mess in there. So now what we're going to do here is drop it in our jig here like so. This little jig has worked out quite nicely. All I have here to hold this in, this pit, is I put a screw in here. That's a 2-inch screw. I have 2 screws here, so I can back up here, so we're in the same position. And now what you do is put your arm down on this thing and hold downward pressure while you're putting the torque on this thing. And you don't need to get too crazy with the torque here on this. Don't get too nuts. That is plenty of torque on that. You see the bow in that. That's plenty of torque on that thing. So yeah, what I did with these cans here, I put a screw here and a screw here to hold these 2 cans on. And I didn't have enough shelf here, and I didn't have enough room here. I didn't want anything in my way here to where I pull this wire through. So I added 2 pieces of 2x stock here and screwed them in here, and then added the can. So they're all, this whole kit is together here, see. So what I want to do now is run through the wire. We will run through this wire through this first hole up here, through this first eyelet down to this one. Just back and forth here. Some guys have a roller like a, I don't know, like a bobbin or a, maybe a spool of thread that has no thread on it. You put a spool over here to wrap your wire around it temporarily. I had this screw up higher here, and I had to lower it, so I just put it in deeper into the wood because it was conflicting with my deal here. I made a lot of these years ago, so I know what I'm doing will work fine. And it, you know, it's just, I'm using material that is just sitting around doing nothing. And I'm caught up on my boxes. I haven't been sourcing any pallets at all. I'm way ahead of the game on all of that shenanigans. So I said, heck, this is a great time. This is a great time to get some of this framework done here. Now, what we're going to do here, of course, is take your little hammer here. This is a little upholstery hammer. and get one down at each end. Some guys use needle nose. Some guys use needle nose pliers to hold that so they don't hit their fingers. And I just wrap it around here. Sink it all the way down. Cut it off. And I'm gonna get, this is way overkill, these lineman pliers for this. And I'm gonna get myself some of those little, like the jewelers use, the necklace people, whatever, that make beads, jewelry, and whatever. So now what I gotta do here is tighten this up. So all you do here is grab this line over here like this and pull up. Don't back roll this reel. If you do, you will take and sink this up underneath this coil, and now you got a mess. So just grab this and pull up and do this number here, and just keep tension. And as you tighten these up, you're pulling up, it will tighten up these lines for you. Once you do that, you get pretty much all the slop out. Wind this up a few times and then sink this nail in. Trim it off, and then also you've got a sharp piece sticking up here, the wire. Tap it down. Tap that down. See? But now, I mean, it's not super tight, but once you take this pressure off of here, you take this out, now you have a Chinese musical instrument, or a beehive frame that's going to be utilized, and that's what I'm gonna. I don't think I'm going to do any Chinese instrumentation. Okay, guys, that's Steve-O's deal for today. You see how simple this deal is. Now they do make. If you go to, I got to thinking about this later after I built this thing here. You can do exactly what I did. Go to Harbor Freight and buy one of those clamps and sacrifice a clamp. All you got to do is, sacrifice one of these clamps. All you got to do is grind off. There's a little nipple right here on this back. Just put it on your bench grinder and get it in on an angle and grind that completely off, and this clamp portion will slide right off this bar. After I did this project, I got to thinking, in the welding department over there at Harbor Freight, they do have those little cam lock or adjustables. I used to do, years ago, back when I was a young pup, I was in Michigan. I worked for a couple outfits, and I was a production line welder. I was a human robot. God, did that job suck, guys. I can't tell you how bad that job sucked. I rather guys shovel pig poop all day long with a flat shovel than be a production line welder, okay? That's just me, okay? I'd rather smell pig poop all day than do that. On that production line weld, actually, I was in a little town called Mason, Michigan. And they had a factory. There was 52, mind you, we had 2 shifts. There was 52 of us welders in this shop. And all we did for 8 hours was build and put together these 4-foot square baskets. They were 4 foot high, and they had a door that dropped down. And we were making those for Fisher Body for parts, and it was like a fork. You could pick it up with a forklift and move it around. We were burning out, I don't remember. It was a bunch of them. And what Fisher Body needed with all those, I worked there for about 3 months until I got a phone call, and my old buddy started a gas station. I used to work with him at Don Frey Chevrolet in Mason, Michigan. He called me up. He said, Steve, well, what are you doing? Because he knew I turned wrenches. He knew I knew how to do front end alignment and brake work. What are you doing? I said, I'm a freaking robot, and I hate it. You'd leave there at night, guys, at the end of your shift, and they had fans in there blowing, but it looked like a wall of smoke from about head high to the ceiling. Solid black smoke in there. So we're in there breathing. None of us had respirators back in the day. I don't think there was an OSHA, anybody back in the day, OSHA people, and I don't think that even existed. And you could blow your nose, guys, at the end of that shift, and it was just black soot would come out of your friggin' skull. Anyway, I knew that wasn't good. I had to get out of there. So anyway, I got out of there. And my buddy and I, we went and did the gas station trick for a couple years. That gig was pretty good, and I moved on from that. But anyway. Yeah, so I don't even know where I was going with this story. I got off alignment here. That's what you do when you get my age. You start drifting off and strolling down memory lane, guys. But anyway, yeah, so I don't even know where I was going with that story. I'm getting like Joe. I'm getting brain dead, I think. Just watching him is getting scary. So anyway, yeah, I think these are going to work out hunky-dory, guys. I really do. These are going to work out. I've got my crock pots about ready. And now I got a paintbrush I drop in there, and I'll put a nice little bead of wax all on that hemp string right there. You don't need to do nothing with these. These should be ready to go. Yeah. So I got the rest of these to do. I'll have about 20 frames to there. On the 17th of this month is a new moon. I want to get in these hives and evaluate. I'm going to start stealing resources or anything that's jam up. I want a queen that's cranking in there. I'm going to steal some of her resources. We're going to make new colonies, more of them. And I don't know how many more I'll make. Usually every new moon I start, and I'll go clear depending on what's up, how many hives I got, whatever. I will string it out all the way almost to full moon. And then I'll wait for the next new moon. I'll do it again. But we're getting into midsummer now. You know, we got August, next month's August, September 15th is a major honey flow here for pepper, Brazilian pepper. You can make some excellent queens on that in Florida if you're around pepper. So keep that in mind. That's a lot of that's down south of the Skyway Bridge, but we're getting a lot of them in here. And shh, don't tell anybody. There's a guy that's like a Johnny Appleseed. I don't know who he is. Don't let this get out of the bag. Don't let this cat out of the bag, because it's illegal to promote Brazilian pepper plants. It's illegal. Okay, so shh, I don't know who this guy is that's doing this, but there's a lot in my area that's starting to get a lot of them in my area. I don't know who's, like I said, I don't know who's doing it, but God bless them. That's all I can say, because it could be just nature. When these red berries pop, the grackles from the north come down here, and they're eating those. And they get drunk on their ass, and they start going around and And that's why you see a lot of them on the fence lawns, Brazilian pepper. Because they sit on the fence and poop, and wherever they poop, here comes a Brazilian pepper tree. Okay? That's how it works. But it almost looks to me like somebody's propagating these things and planting them. But if I ever catch them, I'm going to have to turn them in, because this is totally illegal. Totally illegal. But God bless them, because my bees love it. So that's all I got for you today. God bless you guys. So great to see you again and again and again and again. And get out there and see Evie Gibbons. She's a riot, that girl. I just love her. I just love her. See you later, guys. Be happy, be strong. We got to keep getting it on and keep making more string and wire frames. God bless you.